Elnur Aliyev, CEO of the Nizami Ganjavi International Center. It's an Azerbaijani cultural organization. He joins us now from Baku. Thank you so much indeed for your time, Elnur. What are your feelings right now?
Feelings are very confused, in fact. From one side, definitely we are trying to see how we can proceed with the peace process. And Azerbaijan agreed for this humanitarian ceasefire with the reason that it can open up the ceasefire, which will lead to the peace process. But unfortunately, we see that the Armenians are continuing their provocations. And being the CEO of the Nizami Ganjavi International Center, we have special sentiment towards Ganja city itself, because this is the homeland of the great Nizami Ganjavi, the philosopher, which lived in 12th century and which he was supporting the ideas of tolerance, dialogue, and the peace. And unfortunately, we see that this what was preached in 12th century is still not placed in the 21st century.
Sure, and because of the violations that have been occurring now for more than a day since the ceasefire was supposed to have started, do you think that actually it wasn't a very good starting point, that possibly there should have been more procedures put in place? For example, maybe having international peacekeepers in that part of the world to have some kind of monitors and observers who would be able to give a kind of neutral assessment of what's happening here?
The humanitarian ceasefire that Azerbaijan has agreed on basically was Azerbaijan's reply to international request to come up with a ceasefire, and it was not Azerbaijan's initiative, it was Armenian initiative. And that's why I think it is very sad to see that even on this initiative, Armenian side was not serious. When it comes to the international peacekeepers, I think it is too much premature to have international peacekeepers in place. As you know, the last 2 weeks were the period when Azerbaijan started liberation campaign over its lands, international recognized as the lands belonging to Azerbaijan. And the Armenian side basically was pleading international community to request Azerbaijan to come up to agree on the ceasefire, which we did yesterday. And unfortunately, and it was supposed to be valid on October 10th, starting from 12 noon time. And unfortunately, we have seen even immediately after ceasefire came into effect, the Armenians did not respect it. And I think the biggest proof of it is atrocities that happened in Ganja, the shelling and the bombing of the civilian residential areas in Ganja. We already have almost 40 wounded people, 9 killed, among them kids and a woman. So I think that I'm very much doubtful now on the effect of this humanitarian ceasefire.
So, Elnur, something has to change here, correct? If this ceasefire is not holding, if it was an Armenian initiative and the Armenians are violating their own initiative, there has to be another step. How is that step going to happen? Because surely the violations as they are now are destroying any trust that there may have been. That meeting in Moscow on Friday between the foreign minister of your country and the foreign minister of Armenia was the first direct diplomatic contact since this latest fighting began on the 27th of September. The first. Where will the next one come? How can it happen?
Unfortunately, the ceasefire violation is happening at the moment on the front line inside the occupied territories of Azerbaijan. The mood of Azerbaijani people is very much against any let's say any peace talks at the moment. I think that we are very much frustrated. In fact, what's happening at the moment for Azerbaijan is normal. It is the continuation of the ethnic cleansing policy. As you know, ethnic cleansing the Armenian Republic was confirmed by the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe in 2005, which clearly stated that Armenians perpetrated ethnic cleansing in the occupied territories. And this is the natural continuation of the same policy. It shows that nothing has changed on the Armenian side. When it comes to the next meeting, I think that what's happening at the moment is very difficult to give any reasonable plan a time or schedule for the next meeting, at least from our side. I mean, we are just counting the casualties in the residential area. You can understand the mood of Azerbaijani people.
Yes, of course. Elnur, thank you so much indeed. Elnur Aliyev speaking to us from Baku.